Have you ever seen someone judged for simply living their life, doing something everyone else does? The sun was glowing over Maple Street as Marcus Johnson flipped burgers in his backyard, his son Ethan laughing and chasing bubbles around. The smell of barbecue drifted through the air, and for a moment, everything felt like peace. Angela poured lemonade into red cups, smiling at her husband. They had just moved into this quiet, mostly white neighborhood, hoping for a fresh start. But peace has enemies. Behind the white fence, Mr. Bradley White, their neighbor, watched with cold eyes. He hated the sound of their laughter. Too loud, he muttered. Too many people. He gripped his phone tighter as if it gave him power. Inside, his TV blared with angry news that fed his bitterness every day. When Angela waved politely at him, he turned his back. Minutes later, Marcus saw him pacing in his yard, whispering something into his phone. "He's calling someone," Marcus said softly. "Let it go," Angela replied, but something in her voice sounded unsure. The music was soft, but not enough to drown the sound of sirens approaching. Ethan stopped playing, his eyes wide. "Dad, are the police coming here?" Marcus looked toward the street, his stomach tightening. He had done nothing wrong, yet his heart raced like he had. 2 police cars pulled up. Officer Miller stepped out, his hand near his holster. "We got a noise complaint," he said, "and reports of suspicious activity." Marcus blinked, confused. "Suspicious? Officer, we're just having a family barbecue." Behind the fence, Mr. White watched, a smirk forming on his face. He folded his arms like he had won something. "Told you they don't belong here," he whispered under his breath. Angela stepped forward, trembling but firm. "Officer, we live here. You can check our ID, our lease, whatever you want." The officer hesitated, the smell of food mixed with tension in the air. Ethan grabbed his father's hand. Then Marcus noticed something. The officer's radio crackled, and another voice came through. "Backup not needed. Situation seems calm." Officer Miller looked embarrassed, his eyes shifting from Marcus to Mr. White. Marcus took a deep breath. "We're not leaving, officer. We're just being a family." His words were calm, but his heart burned. As the sirens faded into silence, the tension didn't. Mr. White turned back to his window, already planning his next move. This wasn't over. Marcus sat back down, staring at the grill as smoke rose into the evening sky. "All we wanted was peace," he whispered. "And for those watching this story, remember, peace shouldn't be a privilege. If you believe no one deserves to be treated like this, hit that subscribe button and stand with us against racism." The night after the barbecue, Marcus Johnson couldn't sleep. The flashing red and blue lights kept replaying in his mind. He had faced racism before, but this felt different. It wasn't on the street this time. It was right outside his home, the place that was supposed to be safe. Angela sat beside him, scrolling through her phone. "You know," she whispered, "I think Mr. White recorded us. Look at this." She showed Marcus a neighborhood Facebook post, a blurry photo of them at the barbecue, captioned, "New neighbors throwing wild parties, suspicious activity, keep your kids safe." Marcus felt his stomach twist. "Suspicious? For cooking food with my family?" He clenched his fists, trying to stay calm. "He's trying to paint us as criminals." By morning, whispers had started. Some neighbors avoided eye contact. One woman who smiled yesterday suddenly crossed the street today. The Johnsons had become a rumor. Later that day, as Marcus prepared to leave for work, a police car pulled up again. Officer Miller stepped out, looking uneasy. "Mr. Johnson, I'm sorry to bother you." Mr. White filed another complaint. Marcus's eyes widened. "Another one, for what this time?" The officer hesitated. "He said you threatened him last night." Marcus almost laughed from disbelief. "Threatened him? I didn't even speak to him after you left." But he could see it in the officer's eyes, doubt. The kind that comes not from evidence, but from bias planted deep. Inside the house, Angela recorded the entire encounter on her phone. She was done staying quiet. "If they want to twist the truth," she whispered, "we'll show the world what really happens." That night she uploaded the video, calm, clear, and real. It showed everything: Marcus grilling, the police showing up, Mr. White watching from behind the fence. No shouting, no threats, just a family targeted for existing. Within hours, the video spread. Thousands of comments poured in. People were furious. This is why we need change. This man did nothing wrong. I've seen this too many times. By morning, news crews were calling. Marcus stood in disbelief as a reporter's van parked outside. Sir, can we speak to you about what happened? Behind the blinds, Mr. White's smirk faded. He hadn't expected this. He wanted them humiliated, not heard. He slammed his curtain shut, heart pounding. Marcus looked at his son Ethan, who had been quiet the whole time. Dad, why did they think we were bad people? Marcus knelt beside him, holding his small hands. Because some people judge before they know. But you must never let hate make you small. The video had started something bigger, and Mr. White was about to realize that the truth, once seen, can't be silenced. If you believe that one voice can make a difference, don't forget to subscribe and stand with families like Marcus's who fight for respect every day. Because silence helps the hate, and your support helps the truth rise. By the next morning, Maple Street didn't feel the same. Reporters stood outside the Johnsons' home, and the sound of camera shutters echoed like justice calling out. The video had gone viral overnight, millions of views, thousands of shares, and even more outrage. Marcus Johnson stood on his porch, still trying to understand how a quiet barbecue turned into a national story. Angela held his hand tightly, her phone buzzing with messages of support from strangers. You showed grace when most would have shown anger, one comment read. It gave her hope. But across the fence, Mr. Bradley White was boiling with rage. He paced back and forth in his living room, slamming his remote on the table. They made me look like a monster, he shouted. His wife, tired of his hate, muttered, maybe because that's how you acted. He glared at her but said nothing. Moments later, a black SUV pulled into the street. The police chief stepped out, his expression firm. Chief Daniels, a man known for his fairness. Two officers followed him, including Officer Miller, who now looked more nervous than ever. They walked straight to Mr. White's door. Knock, knock. He opened it slowly, forcing a fake smile. Chief, good to see you, sir. What brings you? Cut the act, Bradley, the chief interrupted. We've seen the video. Mr. White's face went pale. Video, he stammered. Those people twisted everything. The chief raised his hand. Enough, you called the police on a peaceful family. You filed a false report. And you embarrassed this department. Behind the chief, Officer Miller looked down in shame. Sir, I didn't know, I just followed protocol. The chief turned to him. Protocol is no excuse for prejudice, officer. We serve all, not some. Mr. White's voice cracked. So what now? You're taking their side? The chief's voice hardened. I'm taking the side of what's right. With that, he reached toward Mr. White's chest and ripped off his honorary retired officer badge that he wore proudly even years after service. The metal clinked against the porch as it fell. You don't represent this badge anymore, the chief said quietly. Across the fence, Marcus, Angela, and Ethan stood in silence, watching. The moment felt heavy, not of revenge, but of justice long delayed. Marcus exhaled slowly, a tear forming in his eye. For once, the system didn't look away. Chief Daniels turned to Marcus. Mr. Johnson, I can't undo what happened, but I promise you this, our town will learn from it. Marcus nodded, voice low. Thank you, Chief. That means more than you think. As the chief walked away, reporters shouted questions, cameras flashing. Mr. White closed his door hard, his world collapsing behind it. That night, as the family sat together, Ethan whispered, Dad, do you think people will stop hating us now? Marcus smiled faintly. Maybe not everyone, son, but today one did. And to everyone watching this, remember, standing up against hate starts with one act, one person, one truth. If you believe in that, hit subscribe, share this story, and let's make sure no family ever has to prove they belong again. Days passed, but the world didn't stop talking about the Johnsons' story. It was everywhere, TV channels, social media, even classrooms. People who had never met Marcus Johnson or Angela were suddenly inspired by their calm strength. For the first time, their small backyard barbecue had become a symbol of something bigger, dignity in the face of hate. One morning, Marcus stood by his window, watching Ethan ride his bike down the street. The neighbors who once looked away now waved. Some even apologized for staying silent. The same woman who had crossed the street before now brought over a pie and said softly, I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that. Marcus smiled and said, thank you, that means a lot. But not every wound heals fast. Across the fence, Mr. Bradley White's house remained quiet. His blinds were closed, his yard empty. One afternoon, Marcus saw him outside for the first time since the incident. The man looked smaller somehow, like his pride had deflated. Marcus hesitated, then walked over. Angela watched from the porch, unsure but trusting his heart. Mr. White, Marcus said gently, I didn't come to argue, I came to tell you we forgive you. Mr. White froze. His eyes, once full of arrogance, now carried regret. You forgive me, he whispered. After what I did, Marcus nodded. Hate can eat a man alive. I don't want my son to learn that. I'd rather he learn that forgiveness is stronger. Mr. White's lips trembled. For the first time, he didn't have words. He looked down, then slowly said, I was wrong, Marcus. I let my fear turn into hate. I'm sorry. It wasn't loud or dramatic, but it was real. And in that small moment, the air between them felt lighter. That night, Marcus sat with Angela and Ethan by the fire pit, the same spot where it all began. You know, Angela said softly, the smoke smells the same, but everything feels different. Marcus smiled. Because this time, it's peace. The next morning, the local newspaper printed a headline, a neighborhood divided by hate, united by forgiveness. As the story closed, the Johnson family didn't just win justice. They won back their peace, their dignity, and their faith in people. And somewhere inside his quiet house, Mr. White finally understood that hate never protects you. It only destroys what's human inside you. So if this story moved you, take a moment. Remember that the smallest act of kindness, the simplest moment of empathy, can break generations of prejudice. Hit subscribe, not just for stories, but for change, for truth, and for every soul that still believes humanity can do better.